By 1958, after headlining for some 9 years, you said your work began to suffer. Can you explain that to me?
Well, I was strong, but I'm not that strong where I wished I could have had a hangover, That would have been stopped me, maybe. But I was strong enough that I didn't even feel it. But little by little, I saw it in the kinescopes when we'd see it back. And I'd look at it and I'd say, my timing is off. I'm not right there. I'm not on the money. It's not there. And I saw it happening. When you see it happening right in front of you, and you do nothing about it.
Could you blame that entirely on the
I blamed it on everybody but me.
Mm-hmm.
I blamed it on everybody. My family,
the writers, everybody.
But it wasn't apparent. It didn't show. Only I saw it.
Yeah, of course.
People who knew me very intimately, they could see it.
That was the year that they canceled your contract.
Well, it wasn't. I guess so. You could say that, surely. But
why? What reason did they give you for canceling your
tape was coming in. Tape came in. There was a whole new business. Now we don't have to put on variety shows and this and that. We got tape. We can take the show under our arm and do it anyway.
Yeah. Now, why didn't you make one of those contracts? You were certainly in a position, Sid, to have made one of those contracts like Milton Berle made.
I had one of those contracts.
Did you?
I gave it up, $1 million contract.
You gave it up?
Yeah. That's how nuts I was.
You gave it up? It was non-cancelable?
No, that's it. I was the one who broke it.
You said, I don't want the money.
I don't want it.
Are you solvent today?
Oh, yeah.
Then you didn't blow the money crazily on something.
Well, I did it. It's a crazy thing. I mean, to turn down $1 million contract is crazy, isn't it?
Of course. In those days, you know what? We read about things like that today, and it's common. This guy got this basketball player's getting $5 million. This one, But in those days, that was a lot of bread, boy. That was a lot of money.
There was a lot of taxes too.
In that black period, did you ever consider ending it?
Oh, many times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was near the end, when I came to the depths of it.
How close did you come?
Well, obviously I didn't make it.
Yeah. Either that or you're poor shots, one of the...
No, I didn't use that. I don't like guns.
No,
But...
how were you planning on ending it?
I don't know. I had several ways. Would you like to go through a few scenarios?
Yes, yes.
Well, the car, you want to jump off a building, you want to jump into a dam, you want to go over here, you want to jump over there. Anyway, take your pick. I was there. Yeah. I went through it. But the main thing was that there is an instinct inside of you, or inside of me, that survives. It's not going to give up. It's going to be. It's got to. And I just couldn't let myself go down the drain because I just didn't want to do it. I mean, I knew what was happening, but there was no way I could stop it. I thought. And then I went to Regina, Saskatchewan in Canada. I was doing a show up there, Last of the Red Hot Lovers, with the Neil Simon's playing. And I didn't remember the lines on opening night. I didn't remember knowing the lines. I didn't remember where I was, I didn't know anything. And that frightened me. It was the first time it ever happened, and I was really shaking because I had just come from...
How did you get through it?
Wait, let me start.
Good night. You get on stage.
You see, I came back in 1978 from Las Vegas, and I went into my home, and I stood there January, February, March, and April. I never left my house. I was afraid to go out. In fact, I hardly ever got out of bed. And that's when I was thinking about really dying.
That was the lowest point in your life.
That was like...
What brought you back, Sid, besides your wife's help?
Well, what brought you back is it's got to come from within you, within me. It had to come from me. That's when I first found out I have something to do with all this. It's not just happening to me. I'm letting it happen to me. In fact, I am making it happen to me. So what I did was I asked for help. When I got into this, after the first act of that show in Saskatchewan, in Regina, I looked in the mirror and I just said, "You want to live or you want to die, Sid? It's up to you." It's as simple as that. And it was for real. And I said, that's when I opted for life. I turned around and I said, the little busboy who was in the room with me, I said, "Would you get the doctor?" And the doctor came in and I said, looked him right in the eye and I said, "Would you please help me? Please." And I said, "Please."
Did he know what your problem was?
Oh, he knew right away. Yes, because he saw me on the stage. And I went into a hospital. Now, I could have stolen
Did they stop the play at that point when you
Yeah, that was it. Sure. And I went to this hospital, and I could have taken, stolen pills, off the little cart that the nurses wheel around. But I didn't. I wanted to get well. I wanted to get better. And that's when you come face to face with yourself. When you're walking up and down that hospital room, and you start to sweat bullets, and you know you're not going to sleep, and you know you're going to be uncomfortable, not uncomfortable, you're going to be in agony, and torture, misery. And I said, good. I was used to punishment. I said, this will punish you. This will show you how to drink. He said, you want to drink more? Here, have another drink. Here. This is what drinking is going to do for you. And I started to realize what I was doing. Just started to realize what I was doing then.
Tell the story, most fascinating thing in the book. I got to have you tell about it. The story about Sid and Sydney.
Yes, that when I went to Paris.
Oh.
Now, I knew when this was happening, I said I started to do some push-ups, for the first time in about 20 years. I did a push-up, 2, 3, maybe 5. And then I said, I got to get away. I got to go someplace where I can be alone with me. I got to be with me. I don't know why. I just had the feeling. And all of a sudden, a picture came up in Paris. Peter Sellers, Dr. Fu Manchu. And I took the picture. I didn't care what the part was. I just went. And when I got to Paris, I saw this magnificent, beautiful city, which I had been to many, many times, but I'd never been there. I had never been.
Never known it before.
I was always drunk when I arrived.
Yeah.
And if you're drunk, there's no sense in going traveling. It doesn't make what city you're in. You can be in Paris, London, or Greece, or it's where's the hotel and where's the booze, and that's it.
Yeah.
So save yourself the trouble. If you drink, don't travel. Do it home. But then, when I got to Paris, I got this beautiful little room in the Hotel Victor Hugo in Rue Copernic. And I got this little cassette that I took with me, which I took to take to museums, because I'm an audio person, I would describe the pictures and describe the artifacts, because I could hear myself and I wouldn't picture myself standing and looking at it. But instead I started to talk to me. I said, well, Sidney, you and I are going to be alone here for 5 months. And we don't speak French, and we got to talk to somebody, so it might as well be you. And I said, Sid, this is Sydney talking to Sid, and because we're going to be friends. We got to be friends, because I'm going to be with you 25 hours a day.
And Sydney was like the father figure, right?
No, Sid was the father figure. Sydney was the little child.
Ah.
Sydney was the little, but you see, I couldn't get rid of Sydney altogether, because Sydney was the crazy one. He was the one who jumped around, made all the little fun, and
make everybody laugh. Yeah.
Make everybody laugh.
Yeah.
But he was also the crazy one who wanted to drink. And I got Sid to take care of Sydney. And I noticed all the little trigger mechanisms, that make you want to drink, that make you depressed, that make you this. And they're very subtle. They come on you, not even knowing it. You say, well, I'll have a little go there and have a good time. Now, is there such a thing called punishment through pleasure? Guys, hey, come on, we'll go out and have a few drinks, we'll do this, we'll have that, and go, walk out, boy. But they know, in the morning it's going to be, my head, I can't see, I can't do, right?
Sure.
Well, that's pleasure, but there's punishment at the end.
Sure.
And this is what I was doing to myself.
But I
had to say it first. You have to verbalize it, because you think about it, it goes away. But when you verbalize it, and you put it on tape, then you play it back, you see the swings in mood. I mean, from the morning, and you come back at night, and you talk again, just anything off the top of your head. Yeah. And I would come back, and I would hear, and I would listen to it, and I found out that you do have swings in moods, and it's natural and normal. Anybody who's happy all the time is, it's
something wrong,
something missing.
Not a full deck.
Right. But that's when I found out you have to have balance in your life. You must have balance.
But the fact that you were a household word and a millionaire before the age of 30, too much too soon, maybe?
Oh, yes. Also, I didn't know what was making you. I had no failure. Everything I went to, as soon as I got out of the Coast Guard, I did 1,000 Spas, which was a movie, and then I went to the Copacabana. I played the Copacabana.
What did you do? Did you do stand-up comedy?
Yes, of course.
Jokes? Sid Caesar did stand-up
No jokes. No, I didn't do jokes. But I did what you call behavior comedy. It's character comedy. I get my joke, my fun comes out of the fun of the character. That's where it comes from. And on this...
and you were successful wherever you went?
Wherever I went. And I said, what is doing this? Because I had no show business background.
See, a little bit of failure would have helped.
Yes, that's true.
Had you had a few knockdowns.
Right. It's very true. But then, you never know, because this alcohol thing was I was allergic. No, not a crutch. It's an allergy. It's a crutch, you can call it whatever you want. But if you're allergic to alcohol, you can't drink, because you become a different person. You're no good.
Yeah.
And you can't stop, and you got to keep going. And this is wrong. Now, what I did was to say to myself and take responsibility for my own life. And once you do that, once you take the responsibility, My, it's so easy to live. It's so, because you don't have to lie to yourself. You don't have to remember all the lies you told to everybody. You just say the truth, like I said in the book.
Sure.
In the book, I just told the truth. I let everybody speak.
Was that a great release for
Oh,
you,
yes.
writing the book?
When I wrote the book, a great writer, Bill Davidson.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous writer. And the better part of it, I knew Bill before. I met him about 30 years ago, and he did a piece on me. My first big magazine piece was in Collier's, and then he did another piece in Look. So I knew Bill. And we sat and we talked for 3 months in a tape recorder.
You had reams of tape that you had done, I'm
yes,
sure.
But he went in and picked out. I didn't have nothing to do with that.
Uh-huh.
He went in and picked out the tapes that he wanted. I had nothing to do. I would take this, take that. I said, you do it. Because that was the way, because it was an extension of my therapy. And I had to let him play with my life, or put it in some sort of an order.
But you did therapy on yourself.
But that's a different sort of, this is an extension of that therapy. After you go through it, when you talk to yourself and you hear yourself, and then when you read it in print, when I had the first manuscript, it took me 2 months to read it. It's a very painful thing. It just doesn't come like...
Did I do those things?
Not only that, did I do those things, it's all of it. When you read it in a book, it's like, it's hard to read. I mean, I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
It took me 2 months till I got through it. And finally, when I did, you say, okay, it's out. The secret is out. You don't have to hide it anymore. You don't have to be ashamed of it. And you are worth. Your self-esteem and self-worth are so important. Not that you have to have a big head or an ego or that, but just to feel that you are contributing to life, that you are trying to make someone else happy, that you are a friend of somebody. In fact, the main thing is you're a friend of yourself.
Yeah, please stay. Will you stay?
Sure.
Yeah. And the book is called Sid Caesar, Where Have I Been? We'll be right back.